Ever feel like when you're starting a new project, it's like, staring into this like black hole of different methodologies.
Yeah, the total
predictive, agile, hybrid.
Yeah.
It's like enough to make you want to just say, forget it, I'm sticking to my spreadsheets.
Yeah, exactly.
We're diving into that feeling.
Yeah.
Because like picking the right approach for your project, that's like less stress, better outcomes. Maybe even like actually enjoying the process. Right?
And you know what I think is really interesting is we get so caught up in the tools.
Oh, tell me about it.
Gantt charts and Kanban boards and all that stuff that we forget about like the most crucial part.
Which is?
Choosing the right framework first.
Right. Yeah.
Like using a hammer when what you really need is a screwdriver.
Okay. I love that analogy. And speaking of cautionary tales, we've got some pretty interesting excerpts from this book called Choosing a Development Approach with AI.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one.
And, they're using the the HealthCare.gov launch as a prime example of what not to do.
Oh, man. Right. Remember that whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Website crashes, the political fallout. The
whole 9 yards.
The whole shebang.
Yeah.
And the book really argues that, sticking so rigidly to a waterfall approach, even when, things were clearly going haywire, I think was a major contributor to that chaos.
See, this is why picking the right approach matters.
It's a big deal.
It's not just about, project management jargon. It's about real world consequences. The consequences. So for those of us who have, thankfully, blocked 2013 from memory,
right?
What exactly went wrong with HealthCare.gov?
Well, they went all in on this like big bang delivery.
Big bang.
Where, everything is developed simultaneously.
Oh, wow.
And it's all meant to like come together perfectly at launch. But, with something that complex, that many moving parts, and a huge reliance on predicting everything up front, it backfired.
Yeah.
Spectacularly.
Ouch. That's a pretty strong argument against, like, the whole waterfall method, then.
Yeah.
So, for those of us who are, like, used to a more flexible way of working, explain it like we're back in a super rigid corporate environment.
Yeah.
What's the appeal?
Well, so waterfall is all about structure.
Okay.
Which, can be comforting.
I could see that.
In some cases, right? If you've got a project with, like, super clear, unchanging requirements, think like constructing a building.
Right, yeah.
Where the blueprints are pretty much, set in stone. Waterfall's got its merits.
Okay.
Everyone knows what to expect when, and ideally how much it'll cost.
Right. I can see that. But like, the book points out with HealthCare.gov, like a lack of flexibility in a project that big is almost like asking for trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff changes.
Time.
Right. And that's, that's waterfall's biggest weakness. It's like trying to steer a cruise ship with a bicycle handlebar.
Oh, wow.
You could plan the route meticulously, but like if a storm hits, you're kind of stuck.
So if waterfall is the cruise ship in a hurricane, is agile, like the speedboat weaving through the waves.
Maybe.
Tell me more about this whole like embrace the chaos approach.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, agile it's definitely more about like navigating the choppy waters than like trying to control the whole ocean, Right. So instead of that like one massive launch, you're delivering in these smaller chunks.
Okay.
Getting feedback, making changes as you go, course correcting constantly.
So you're like adjusting the sails as you go or something?
Yeah, exactly. Like think of it like, I don't know, navigating by the stars.
Yeah.
You've got your North Star, your overall goal, but you're adjusting to the wind and the currents along the way. Okay, that makes a lot more sense than just like saying agile and expecting everyone to get it right.
Right.
But isn't that like a whole other, black hole of jargon?
It can be.
Scrum, Kanban, Lean.
Yeah.
It's like the project management version of alphabet soup.
It can definitely feel that way. But really, they're really just different tools for implementing that kind of like adaptive mindset,
Yeah, right.
So imagine like you're building a house.
Okay.
Scrum would be like having this like lead contractor who, breaks down the project into these like 2-week sprints.
Okay, yeah.
Focusing on the foundation first and then like framing, then electrical and so on.
Right.
Kanban is more like, I always picture like a giant whiteboard where you can visualize each task.
No, I like that visual.
You see like where the bottlenecks are, keep things flowing smoothly.
So like, are you saying choosing between Scrum and Kanban is more about like how your team likes to work.
Yeah, I think so.
Not necessarily about the project itself.
Exactly. It's all about finding that, like, the right fit for your team's dynamics and the, the specific challenges of your project.
Right, yeah.
And that's where things, I think, get really interesting because, most projects aren't purely predictable.
Right.
Or it's completely chaotic, right? They fall somewhere in between.
Right in the middle.
The gray area. Yeah, and that's where those, like, hybrid approaches come in.
Okay, so the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So it's like having, like, a reliable engine in your speedboat.
Right.
You can still, like, zoom around, but, you're not going to fall apart on you.
Totally.
What are the different ways to do hybrid right?
So the book talks about, like, two main types.
Mm-hmm.
One is all about having that single delivery,
yeah.
like in Waterfall.
Right.
But you're building in flexibility along the way.
Got it.
So imagine, imagine you're launching, like, a new phone.
Yeah.
Right. So the launch date is fixed. That's your North Star.
Right.
But you might use agile methods to, like, develop and refine specific features based on user feedback during that development process.
So you're not stuck with, like, a clunky design just because it was in the initial plan.
Exactly.
You can actually, like, make the phone better based on what users want.
Exactly.
That's smart.
Yeah.
What about that other hybrid type?
The second one? Yeah. It's more about breaking a big project down into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Right.
While still having, like, that clear overall structure. Okay. Think of it like planning a cross-country road trip.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know your destination. Right. And you might have some, like, key stops along the way. Yeah. But you're open to taking detours.
Cool.
Exploring those, like, interesting side roads and adjusting your itinerary based on, how much time you have or what you discover along the way.
So it's still structured.
Yeah.
But you're not afraid to, like, embrace those unexpected detours.
Exactly. And here's where it gets, I think, like, really cool. The book talks about how AI can actually, like, analyze your project.
What?
And suggest which approach, predictive, adaptive, or hybrid, might be the best fit.
Wow.
It's like having a GPS for project management.
Hold on. AI can play project manager now.
Kinda, yeah.
That's both impressive and slightly terrifying.
Don't worry, it's not about replacing human judgment yet.
Hey, good.
But AI can analyze tons of data.
Oh, I bet.
Like, think about your project requirements and your deadlines and your team's experience, even things like, market trends.
Oh, wow.
And then it can, like, give you data-driven recommendations. Imagine, like, feeding, ChatGPT your project charter.
Right.
And it comes back and says, this screams agile. Here are the key things to watch out for.
That's wild. It's like having a super-powered consultant on call, like 24/7.
Pretty much, yeah.
But let's say like I'm stuck in a company that's, like, married to Waterfall.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm convinced, like, even just a little agile would do wonders.
Yeah.
How do I even begin to convince them to try something new?
Yeah.
So, okay, how do we plant the seeds of agile in a world of, like, Gantt charts and all that?
And right.
Any tips from our book?
Well, I think it's all about, like, framing it the right way, right? So instead of, like, marching in with pitchforks yelling, agile or bust.
Right.
Think about, like, what are the pain points that your team is already facing?
Okay. Yeah, good point.
Remember, like, HealthCare.gov.
Oh, boy.
What if they had been able to adapt to feedback, during development instead of after that disastrous launch?
Right. It's about highlighting the benefits, not forcing a complete, like, overhaul.
Yeah. So less we have to change everything and more like, what if we just tried this one thing to, to make our lives a little bit easier?
Shake it in there.
Exactly. Yeah. Start small. Like, maybe you introduce a daily stand-up meeting where everyone kind of shares what they're working on, or you try, like, a sprint retrospective to identify, like, where are the bottlenecks,
I like it.
The book calls these, like, agile ceremonies, which always sounds a little intimidating.
It doesn't.
But really, they're just about, like, improving communication and collaboration, right?
So we're sneaking in the veggies.
Exactly.
A little agile sprinkled into the familiar Waterfall routine.
Yes, exactly. And here's where, like, I think AI can be a real game changer, right? Imagine, like, showing your boss hard data from other projects that proves that, like, incorporating some of these agile principles led to, like, faster delivery times or happier teams.
Right.
Data speaks volumes, especially to those who love their Gantt charts, right?
Data is like the universal language of let's try something new, you know?
Yes, exactly.
But even with the best planning, things change.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Could AI help with that? Like real-time, course correction?
That's where it gets really exciting. Imagine, like, AI that's monitoring your project in real time.
Okay.
So it's looking at deadlines, it's looking at team communication, it's even looking at external factors.
Wow.
Like market shifts, and then it can, like, flag potential issues before they become major roadblocks.
It's like having an AI co-pilot.
Yes.
Saying, uh-oh, I'm detecting some turbulence ahead. Time to, adjust our course.
Exactly. And not just, like, reacting to problems, but, like, maybe, like, spotting opportunities, right? Like, maybe a project that started as waterfall suddenly needs, like, way more flexibility.
Okay, yeah.
AI could help you, transition smoothly, minimize disruption, and keep everyone on track.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We've gone from, like, feeling overwhelmed by project management choices to, like, imagining AI as our, co-pilot on this journey.
I know. It's pretty wild.
So for our listeners who are, maybe about to embark on their next big project, what's the most important thing to remember?
I think it goes back to, like, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, right?
Right.
It's about, understanding your needs and knowing the tools that are available and being willing to, adapt along the way. And who knows, maybe soon we'll all have those, AI project assistants, like, guiding us.
Now that's a future I can get behind.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of project management.
My pleasure.
Until next time, happy planning.